Listen to me. Some of you have been walking through life thinking you have it all figured out. You had your plans, your timelines, your vision of how love and marriage should happen, but then, boom, out of nowhere, someone appears. Someone you never expected, someone who wasn't even on your radar. And suddenly, something shifts inside you. You feel a pull, a connection that you can't explain, and you're wondering, could this be the one? Let me tell you something today. When God moves, He doesn't ask for your permission. When He aligns your path with someone, it's not always predictable, it's not always logical, but it is always intentional. So if you've ever found yourself thinking, why is this person suddenly on my heart? Why do they keep showing up in my spirit? Then this message is for you. God's timing is never off. It's never delayed, never premature. It is always, always perfect. You may not have been looking, you may not have even been thinking about it, but when God decides that it's time, nothing can stand in the way. You see, we live in a world that teaches us to plan, to strategize, to set goals, and to chase after what we want. We make lists, we set deadlines, and we think we have control over how things should unfold. But let me tell you something. When God is writing your story, He doesn't need your permission to turn the page. He doesn't need your schedule to align with His will. And when it comes to love, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to the person He has chosen for you, His timing is what matters, not yours. Some of you have been waiting, wondering, even worrying about when the right person will show up. You've questioned, why haven't I met the one yet? Why is it taking so long? Why do others seem to be stepping into relationships, getting married and moving forward while I'm still here waiting? But what you don't realize is that what looks like a delay to you is actually divine preparation. You're not just waiting, God is working. He's working on you, He's working on them, He's working on the circumstances. And when everything is in place, when your heart is ready, when their heart is ready, when the purpose He has for both of you is ready, then He will align your paths in a way that no human effort could ever accomplish. There are some things in life that you can plan for, but divine appointments, you don't plan those. You don't orchestrate them. You don't manipulate them into existence. God is the master planner, and when He decides to introduce someone into your life, in a way that you never saw coming, you need to recognize that His ways are higher than your ways. It might not happen the way you imagined. It might not be through the channels you expected. You might not meet them in the way you thought you would, but when God sets things in motion, it won't feel forced. It won't feel like a struggle. It won't feel like you have to push your way into it. It will flow. It will fit. And most importantly, it will be right. Think about all the times in your life when things didn't go according to your plan. You thought you were ready, but the door didn't open. You thought that person was the one, but the relationship didn't work out. You thought you had it all figured out, but then something unexpected happened that changed everything. And now looking back, you realize that what you thought was a setback was actually a setup. What you thought was a delay was actually protection. What you thought was unanswered prayer was actually God saying, not yet, because I have something better. God's perfect timing is not just about when He brings someone into your life, but about who He brings and why He brings them. When God places someone in your heart, suddenly, unexpectedly, it's because there is a divine reason. He sees what you don't see. He knows what you don't know. And when the right person steps into your life at the right time, it won't be just about romance. It will be about purpose. It will be about destiny. It will be about the calling He has placed on your life and the mission He has for both of you together. That's why you have to trust Him. You have to trust that He knows the right time, the right person, and the right way to bring you together. Stop stressing over timelines. Stop comparing your journey to others. Stop thinking that you've missed your opportunity. You haven't missed anything. The one God has for you will come into your life at the exact moment they're supposed to, and when it happens, you'll know. Not because of fleeting emotions, not because of external pressure, but because of the deep, undeniable confirmation that only God can give. So if you've been waiting, if you've been wondering, if someone has suddenly entered your heart and you don't even know what, pay attention, pray, seek clarity, because when God moves, he doesn't need your permission. He just needs your faith. What seems random to you is never random to God. What feels like an accident, a coincidence, or a mere crossing of paths is often the result of a divine setup. The unexpected moments in life, the ones that catch you off guard, the encounters that leave you wondering, how did this happen? These are often the fingerprints of a greater plan unfolding. You weren't expecting it, you weren't looking for it. Maybe you had already settled in your mind that love would come a certain way, through a certain person at a certain time, but then suddenly someone appears, and not just appears. They start showing up in your thoughts, your prayers, your heart in a way that doesn't make sense to you. You're asking yourself, why am I thinking about them? Why do I feel this pull toward them when I never even considered them before? That's because God moves in ways that defy human logic. He doesn't always send what you expect. He doesn't always bring things together in the way you planned, but when he is working, he is always intentional. The unexpected is not accidental, it is divine. The people he places in your path, the connections that form seemingly out of nowhere, the way your heart begins to shift towards someone without warning. This is often how he reveals his will. The problem is, we often resist what we don't understand. When something happens outside of our plans, when a person suddenly becomes significant to us without explanation, our natural instinct is to dismiss it. We rationalize, oh, it's just a random thought. It's just a passing feeling. But what if it's not? What if God is trying to get your attention? What if he is aligning something that your mind cannot comprehend yet? Think about all the times in your life when something unexpected led to something greater. Maybe it was a job opportunity you never saw coming. Maybe it was a friendship that became one of the most important relationships in your life. Maybe it was a challenge that turned into a blessing in disguise. If you look back, you'll realize that some of the best things that ever happened to you weren't things you planned. They were things God placed in your life when you least expected them. So why do we think love and relationships will be any different? Why do we think that we have to be the ones to orchestrate every detail of how we meet someone, when we fall in love, how it all comes together? If God can align the stars, if he can command the seasons, if he can open doors that no one can shut, then surely he knows how to bring the right person into your life at the right time. But here's the key. You have to be willing to recognize the unexpected as divine. You have to stop dismissing what you don't understand. You have to open your heart to the possibility that just because you didn't plan it doesn't mean it isn't meant to be. If God has placed someone in your heart, if he has put their name in your spirit, if he keeps bringing them to your mind in ways you cannot explain, then you need to pay attention. Because God doesn't waste time and he doesn't waste connections. When the unexpected happens, don't fight it. Don't resist it just because it doesn't make sense right now. Take it to prayer. Seek wisdom. Ask for clarity. Because what seems sudden to you is something God has been planning all along. And when he brings it to pass, you will look back and realize that it was never random. It was always a part of the plan. When someone keeps showing up in your heart, in your mind, and in your spirit, it's not always just a passing thought or a fleeting emotion. Sometimes it is a sign of something greater unfolding, something beyond your understanding. You might try to shake it off, to rationalize it, to convince yourself that it's just your imagination. But no matter how much you try to ignore it, the thought of that person lingers. Their name keeps surfacing in your prayers. Their presence keeps pressing into your heart. And you find yourself wondering, why? Why do I keep thinking about them? Why do they keep showing up in my spirit? Understand this. When something is from God, it doesn't always come with loud announcements or dramatic signs. Sometimes it comes as a whisper, a nudge, a stirring deep within that you cannot ignore. It's like a seed planted in your heart that begins to grow before you even realize what is happening. You may not have been looking in their direction. You may not have considered them before, but suddenly there is a shift. Suddenly your heart is paying attention to someone who was once just in the background of your life. Suddenly their presence means something more than it ever did before. This is how divine connections often work. They don't always start with fireworks and grand gestures. They start with a quiet but undeniable awareness, a knowing deep inside that something about this person is significant. And when that happens, you need to recognize that it is not always mere emotion. It is often divine alignment. You see, the human heart is not capable of orchestrating deep and lasting connections on its own. Yet we can be drawn to people through attraction, through common interests, through shared experiences. But when a connection is from God, it goes beyond all of that. It is deeper than physical attraction. It is stronger than mere compatibility. It is something that resonates in your spirit, something that feels ordained rather than accidental. That is why when someone keeps showing up in your heart unexpectedly, you cannot afford to dismiss it as random. God does not operate in randomness. Everything he does is intentional. Every person he places in your path serves a purpose. And when he begins to align your heart with someone else's, when he begins to place their name in your thoughts, when he keeps drawing your attention to them in ways you cannot explain, it is because he is trying to reveal something to you. But here is where many people go wrong. They assume that every strong emotion is a sign that every person they feel drawn to is the one. This is where discernment is required. Because not every strong feeling is from God, but when something is truly from him, it will not be based on fleeting passion or temporary excitement. It will be steady. It will be persistent. It will be accompanied by peace, even if it doesn't make complete sense at first. And that's the key, peace. A divine connection does not bring confusion. It does not bring turmoil. It does not make you feel pressured or desperate. When God is behind something, even if you don't understand all the details yet, there is a sense of calm assurance that this is right, that this is meant to be, that this is not just another random encounter. So when someone keeps showing up in your heart, do not dismiss it, do not ignore the nudging. Instead, take it seriously, pray about it, seek wisdom, ask for clarity, because when God is revealing something, he does not do it in vain. If he is placing someone in your heart in a way that you cannot shake, there is a reason. And when you align yourself with his will, when you remain open to his guidance, he will make that reason clear in his perfect time. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. When something is truly from God, when he has ordained a relationship, when he has written someone into your life story, you won't have to fight for their attention, beg for their presence, or force anything to happen. What is meant for you will come into your life in a way that does not require you to compromise your peace, your dignity, or your worth. Too often people wear themselves out chasing relationships, trying to make something work that was never meant to be. They force conversations that don't flow naturally. They fight for the affection of someone who isn't reciprocating. They exhaust themselves trying to prove their value to someone who doesn't recognize it. But when something is truly aligned by God, it does not require struggle. It does not require manipulation. It does not require you to sacrifice your self-respect just to be seen, heard, or loved. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges. That doesn't mean that a God-ordained relationship won't require effort, patience, and growth. But there is a difference between effort and struggle. There is a difference between working together to build something strong and constantly feeling like you're forcing something to stay alive. When God places the right person in your life, things will unfold in a way that feels natural, even if unexpected. You won't have to convince them to be there. You won't have to beg them to see your worth. You won't have to chase after them wondering if they feel the same way. When it's God's plan, both hearts will be aligned. Both spirits will be at peace. Both individuals will feel the confirmation that this is right. Some people waste years chasing what was never meant for them. They pursue relationships out of loneliness instead of purpose. They hold on to people who treat them like an option instead of a priority. They settle for less because they are afraid of being alone. But when you trust God, when you believe in His perfect timing, when you refuse to settle for anything less than what He has for you, you will come to understand that what is truly meant for you will not require you to lose yourself to obtain it. If someone is meant for you, they will recognize you. They will see your value without you having to constantly prove it. They will honor what you bring to the table without making you feel like you have to earn their love. They will be drawn to you in a way that feels divinely orchestrated, not artificially manufactured. And when God aligns two people, there will be a peace about it. Not a confusion, not an insecurity, not an anxious questioning, but a deep, unshakable peace. That is why you must learn to trust. Trust that if someone is drifting away, it's because they were never meant to stay. Trust that if a door is closing, it's because something better is on the other side. Trust that if God has placed someone in your heart, you don't have to chase after them to make them yours, because what is truly yours will recognize you. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. You won't have to force what God has already aligned. And when the right person comes into your life at the right time, you will realize that every heartbreak, every delay, every unanswered prayer was leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. Trust in His plan and watch how He brings the right person to you in the right way. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. When something is truly from God, when He has ordained a relationship, when He has written someone into your life story, you won't have to fight for their attention, beg for their presence, or force anything to happen. What is meant for you will come into your life in a way that does not require you to compromise your peace, your dignity, or your worth. Too often people wear themselves out chasing relationships, trying to make something work that was never meant to be. They force conversations that don't flow naturally. They fight for the affection of someone who isn't reciprocating. They exhaust themselves trying to prove their value to someone who doesn't recognize it. But when something is truly aligned by God, it does not require struggle. It does not require manipulation. It does not require you to sacrifice your self-respect just to be seen, heard, or loved. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges. That doesn't mean that a God-ordained relationship won't require effort, patience, and growth. But there is a difference between effort and struggle. There is a difference between working together to build something strong and constantly feeling like you're forcing something to stay alive. When God places the right person in your life, things will unfold in a way that feels natural, even if unexpected. You won't have to convince them to be there. You won't have to beg them to see your worth. You won't have to chase after them, wondering if they feel the same way when it's God's plan. Both hearts will be aligned. Both spirits will be at peace. Both individuals will feel the confirmation that this is right. Some people waste years chasing what was never meant for them. They pursue relationships out of loneliness instead of purpose. They hold on to people who treat them like an option instead of a priority. They settle for less because they are afraid of being alone. But when you trust God, when you believe in His perfect timing, when you refuse to settle for anything less than what He has for you, you will come to understand that what is truly meant for you will not require you to lose yourself to obtain it. If someone is meant for you, they will recognize you. They will see your value without you having to constantly prove it. They will honor what you bring to the table without making you feel like you have to earn their love. They will be drawn to you in a way that feels divinely orchestrated, not artificially manufactured. And when God aligns two people, there will be a peace about it. Not a confusion, not an insecurity, not an anxious questioning, but a deep, unshakable peace. That is why you must learn to trust. Trust that if someone is drifting away, it's because they were never meant to stay. Trust that if a door is closing, it's because something better is on the other side. Trust that if God has placed someone in your heart, you don't have to chase after them to make them yours, because what is truly yours will recognize you. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. You won't have to force what God has already aligned. And when the right person comes into your life at the right time, you will realize that every heartbreak, every delay, every unanswered prayer was leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. Trust in His plan and watch how He brings the right person to you in the right way. God often hides purpose in unexpected vessels. What you overlook, what you dismiss, what you assume isn't for you, those are often the very things that have been divinely set apart for your destiny. We are naturally drawn to what looks good, to what fits our expectations, to what aligns with the image we have in our mind. But God does not work according to human preferences. He is not bound by the outward appearances, by social standards, by what the world says is desirable. He looks at the heart. He looks at the unseen, and He places extraordinary purpose inside ordinary vessels. Too often, people miss what God has for them because it doesn't come in the package they expected. They pray for a spouse, but when God places someone in their life who doesn't fit their idea of the one, they overlook them. They're waiting for a grand moment, a magical connection, an instant spark. But God is not in the business of catering to emotions. He is in the business of fulfilling purpose. And sometimes the person He has chosen for you will not immediately seem like the person you would have chosen for yourself. Think about how many times throughout history God has used the least expected people to accomplish the greatest things. He takes the overlooked and elevates them. He takes the dismissed and anoints them. He takes the rejected and places them in positions of honor, because God does not need human validation to establish His will. He does not choose based on the surface. He chooses based on purpose. When it comes to marriage, this is especially true. If you are only looking at physical attraction, at personality traits that fit your personal checklist, at what makes sense to you logically, you may be blind to the person God is actually leading you to. The one He has for you may not check off all the superficial boxes, but they will check off every box that matters. They will carry the character, the heart, the purpose, and the strength that will align with the calling on your life. They will be the one who pushes you toward your destiny, who stands beside you through the storms, who strengthens you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. That is why you cannot afford to judge too quickly. You cannot afford to dismiss people just because they don't fit your vision. Sometimes love doesn't come in the form you expected, but in the form you needed. Sometimes the best things in life are hidden in places you never thought to look. And if you only focus on the external, on the temporary, on what the world says is valuable, you might miss the most valuable person God is trying to place in your life. When God chooses someone for you, He does not look at surface level qualities. He looks at who will walk with you through life, who will pray for you when you're weak, who will uplift you when you are struggling, who will stand in agreement with you when you need faith. That kind of person is not always the one who catches your eye first, but they are the one who will hold your heart in a way that no one else ever could. Open your eyes, open your heart. Stop looking for love in the way the world defines it, and start looking for the kind of love that God ordains. Because the one He has for you may not look like what you expected, but they will be everything you need. And when you finally see it, when you finally recognize that what God gives is always better than what you thought you wanted, you will understand that purpose is always greater than preference. When God reveals someone to you, it will not be in confusion. It will not be in emotional chaos. It will not be in a way that causes you to question your worth, your direction, or your peace. When something is truly from God, it comes with clarity. It may not always make sense in the beginning. It may not align with what you originally thought you wanted. But one thing it will never do is bring disorder and instability to your spirit. Too often, people mistake their own desires for divine revelation. They see someone they are attracted to, someone who excites them, someone who fits the image they have created in their mind, and they convince themselves that this must be the one. But attraction is not confirmation. Excitement is not evidence of divine purpose. Just because you feel strongly about someone does not mean they are God's choice for you. When God is truly revealing someone to you, He does not do it through constant confusion. He does not require you to chase, to beg for attention, or to fight for a place in someone's life. He does not give you something that keeps slipping through your fingers. If you are in a situation where you are always uncertain, always questioning, always feeling like you have to force something to work, that is not divine alignment. That is human struggle. And anything you have to fight that hard to hold on to is not truly meant for you. Clarity is a gift that comes with divine revelation. When God places someone in your life for a purpose, there will be peace. Even if there are challenges, there will be understanding, even if there are moments of uncertainty. There will be confirmation, even if the process is not immediate. You will not have to lose yourself in order to gain their love. You will not have to compromise your values, your faith, or your dignity to keep them around. When God reveals someone to you, He will also reveal you to them. It will not be a one-sided pursuit. It will not be an emotional roller coaster. You will not have to spend your nights wondering where you stand, trying to decode their actions, second-guessing their words. Because when God brings two people together, He does not leave one in the dark while the other is fully aware. There is a mutual recognition, a mutual understanding, a mutual draw that is not based on lust, not based on convenience, but based on something deeper, something divine. That is why you cannot rely solely on feelings when it comes to relationships. Feelings are temporary. Feelings can be deceptive. Feelings can lead you toward people who are not meant to be part of your future. But divine revelation comes with wisdom. It comes with patience. It comes with a sense of assurance that is not easily shaken. You don't have to rush when something is truly from God. You don't have to push for it to happen on your timeline. If He is revealing someone to you, it will unfold in His perfect timing. You will not have to manipulate circumstances. You will not have to compromise your peace. You will not have to turn yourself into someone you are not just to be loved. Pay attention to the difference between something you want desperately and something that is being revealed to you by God. If you are constantly wrestling with confusion, if you are constantly feeling uneasy, if you are constantly unsure whether this person is meant for you, step back, pray, seek wisdom. Because when God is truly behind something, He does not operate in disorder. He does not bring people into your life to distract you from your purpose. He does not connect you to someone who pulls you away from who you are meant to be. When He reveals someone to you, it will come with clarity, not chaos. It will come with peace, not anxiety. It will come with confirmation, not constant doubt. And when it is truly from Him, you will not have to fight for it. It will align in a way that only He could orchestrate. When God brings the right person into your life, it will not be something you have to force. It will not be something you have to chase. It will not be something that leaves you constantly wondering where you stand. It will unfold naturally, not because of your effort alone, but because it has already been written in divine timing. People spend so much time trying to control the timing of their relationships, trying to make things happen before they are meant to, trying to hold on to something that God never intended to last. But when something is truly from God, you do not have to manipulate it. You do not have to convince someone to love you. You do not have to constantly fight just to keep their attention. What is meant for you will not require you to diminish yourself just to keep it. Too many people waste their energy on relationships that are not ordained. They pour their heart, their time, their prayers into something that was never designed to be permanent. They confuse temporary connections with destiny. They settle for relationships that drain them rather than strengthen them. And they stay in situations that bring more pain than peace because they are afraid to let go. But here is the truth. If God is in it, you will not have to force it. That does not mean that love will always be easy. It does not mean that relationships will not require effort. But there is a difference between effort and exhaustion. A God-ordained relationship will require you to grow, to communicate, to sacrifice in healthy ways, but it will never require you to compromise your worth just to be loved. When God writes someone into your life, the relationship will align with His peace, not with chaos. You will not have to wonder where you stand every single day. You will not have to play games, walk on eggshells, or constantly fear that they will leave. Because what God builds is meant to last. What He brings together is meant to withstand trials. And when He orchestrates a relationship, it is not based on fleeting emotions, but on something far deeper, on purpose, on calling, on a foundation that cannot be shaken. There is no need to rush what God is preparing for you. There is no need to panic if it has not arrived yet. If you try to force something before it's time, you may end up with something that looks right but is not actually meant for you. You may find yourself settling for a relationship that is good in the moment but painful in the long run. But if you wait, if you trust in divine timing, if you allow God to bring the right person in the right way, it will be something you never have to force. You do not have to run after what is meant to stay. You do not have to fight for what has already been aligned for you. When it is truly from God, it will come with a sense of security. It will come with confirmation. It will come with the kind of love that is steady, not inconsistent. And when you experience that kind of love, you will realize why everything else that you had to force was never truly meant for you in the first place. When you trust God, He will guide you to the right person in the right way. This means that even when it doesn't seem to make sense at first, when the timing feels all wrong, when everything in your life feels out of place, you can trust that God's hand is still at work. The journey may not always be clear and the road may be filled with bumps, but His plan will always lead you to the right place at the right time. You do not have to force things to happen. If you trust in His guidance, you will see how He leads you step by step, sometimes through closed doors, sometimes through delays, and sometimes through the most unexpected turns. There will be moments when the road ahead looks uncertain. There will be moments when you wonder if you're ever going to find the person who truly aligns with your purpose. There will be moments when it feels like time is running out, when you look around and see everyone else finding their path while you remain in a place of waiting. But remember, waiting does not mean being passive. It does not mean that God is doing nothing. It means that He is preparing you, shaping you, aligning your heart with His will, so when the right person comes into your life, you will be ready. Sometimes we look at the process of waiting as a curse, something to be avoided at all costs. But it is in the waiting where God does His deepest work in us. It is in the waiting that we learn patience, that we develop trust, that we grow in wisdom. If you rush ahead of God's timing, if you try to force something into existence before it is meant to be, you will miss out on the fullness of the journey that God has prepared for you. His timing is perfect, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment. What looks like a delay is often just a part of the process of building something far greater than you could ever imagine. God's timing is not bound by human clocks. His plans are not determined by how fast or slow you move. He is not concerned with the timetable that the world tries to impose on us. His timing is always about positioning you exactly where you need to be, at the right moment, with the right heart to meet the right person. When you stop trying to control the timing, when you stop pushing against God's plans, you will find that everything begins to align in ways you never thought possible. The right person will come into your life at the perfect time, not too early, not too late, but at the moment when God has done the work in both of you. He will not bring someone into your life to distract you from your calling. He will not place someone in your life just to fill a temporary void. The person He sends will complement your purpose, not derail it. They will stand beside you, not pull you away from what God has called you to do. And when the right person arrives, they will not bring confusion. They will not make you question yourself or doubt your worth. When God reveals someone to you, it will be clear, not because it fits your idea of the perfect relationship, but because it aligns with God's purpose for both of your lives. There will be peace Even if there are struggles, there will be certainty. Even if there are questions, you will know deep in your spirit that this connection is divine, that this person is the one God has placed in your life for a purpose. God's plan for your life is always better than anything you could have planned for yourself. His will is always more fulfilling, more beautiful, and more aligned with the destiny He has for you than anything you could have imagined. So trust His process. Trust His timing. Trust that if He has placed someone in your heart, if He has put someone in your life, it is for a purpose greater than your understanding. When you trust in His perfect timing, you will never have to question whether or not it is meant to be. You will see His plan unfold step by step, and you will be amazed at how perfectly He orchestrates every detail. There is a profound truth that we often overlook. When God places someone in your life, it is not just for companionship, but for growth, for purpose, for divine alignment. It is not merely a matter of finding someone who can walk beside you. It's about finding someone who will walk with you toward destiny. Often we seek relationships out of desire for validation, for companionship, or because we are simply lonely. But when God places someone in your heart, it is for a greater purpose than fulfilling momentary needs. It is to fulfill His divine plan, to strengthen you, to help you become the person He has always intended you to be. When God places someone in your life, it will come with a peace that surpasses understanding. It will not be based on the temporary, the fleeting, or the superficial. You will know deep down in your spirit that this is the person God has chosen for you. Not because of emotions or excitement, but because there will be a calm assurance that transcends all doubts, all questions. It will be clear, not because everything is perfect, but because there will be a deep knowing that God is at work in the relationship. You will sense that He has been preparing both of you for this moment, for this partnership, for this divine union. So many times we are caught up in the excitement of finding someone we are attracted to, someone who seems to check all the boxes we've set in our minds. We look for compatibility. We look for chemistry. We look for someone who fits our idea of the perfect partner. But when God brings someone into your life, He is not concerned with whether they fit your ideal checklist. He is concerned with whether this person will help you fulfill the purpose He has for you. He is concerned with whether they will be the person who will support you in your calling, who will challenge you to grow in your faith, and who will walk alongside you through all of life's challenges. Sometimes the person God places in your life may not look like what you expected. They may not fit the picture you had in mind. But what you need to understand is that God sees beyond the surface. He sees the heart, the soul, the purpose, the character. What He gives you may not always be wrapped in the package you thought you wanted, but it will always be wrapped in what you need. This person will not just be someone to share your moments of joy, but someone who will stand with you in times of trial, someone who will pray with you when your faith is weak, and someone who will push you to become the person God has called you to be. God is always more concerned with your character than your comfort. He is more concerned with your growth than your temporary happiness. And when He places someone in your life, it will be to help you grow, to help you become more like Him, to help you fulfill the destiny He has set before you. This means that the relationship may not always be easy. There may be times when you disagree, when you struggle, when things don't go as planned. But in those moments, you will see the purpose behind it all. You will understand that God is using this person to shape you, to refine you, and to strengthen you for what lies ahead. When God brings someone into your life, you will not have to question whether they are meant for you. There will be a confirmation in your spirit, a peace that assures you that this is the person God has ordained. Even in moments of doubt or uncertainty, you will know that you have found something divinely orchestrated. It won't be based on your emotions or feelings, but on the foundation of trust you have in God's plan. You don't have to worry about trying to figure everything out on your own. You don't have to panic or rush into decisions. When God is at work in your life, He is the one who leads and directs your step. He will make it clear to you in His perfect timing. He will show you who the right person is, and He will give you the wisdom and the discernment to recognize them. You won't have to chase after them or force something to happen. It will unfold naturally as part of God's perfect plan for your life. Trust in God's process. Trust that He is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see it. Trust that the person He has chosen for you will come at the right time, in the right way, and for the right purpose. And when that person comes, you will know it. It won't be a mystery. It won't be something that you have to wonder about or figure out on your own. You will simply know, because it will align with God's will for your life. What God places in your heart will be something that will not only bless you, but also bless others. It will not be about self-gratification, but about fulfilling a greater purpose. You will see that your relationship will not only impact you and your partner, but it will impact the world around you. Together, you will fulfill God's calling, both individually and as a couple, and you will walk in His purpose for your lives. When God places someone in your life, it is a divine orchestration. It is not random. It is not happenstance. It is not by chance. It is part of a larger plan that God has for you. It is part of His design to bring glory to His name. And when you trust in Him, when you align yourself with His purpose, you will see how everything falls into place in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. You will understand that God's timing is always perfect, and that when He places someone in your life, it is because He has prepared you both for the journey ahead. You must understand that a relationship that is ordained by God is not just a source of comfort, but a source of growth. It is a space where you are challenged, where you are refined, where you learn more about yourself, and where you learn to trust God in ways you never have before. It's not about finding someone who just fits. It's about finding someone who can help you walk out your purpose with integrity, who will challenge you to be better, and who will stand by you when you face the challenges of life. There are moments in life where we may feel incomplete, where we may feel that something is missing. We may look to relationships as a way to fill that void, to complete us, to make us whole. But the truth is, we are not incomplete. We are in the process of becoming. Only God can complete us. Only He can fill the void that we sometimes feel. And when He brings someone into our lives, it is not to fill that gap, but to partner with us in the process of becoming who He has designed us to be. A relationship that is ordained by God will challenge you to look deeper into yourself, to reflect on your weaknesses and strengths, and to allow God to work in you in ways you might not have chosen on your own. This doesn't mean that the relationship will be easy. It doesn't mean that there won't be times of hardship, of disagreement, or even pain. But it does mean that the relationship has been specifically designed to help you grow in ways that you wouldn't be able to grow without it. Think about the purpose of a plant. It needs the right environment to thrive: sunlight, water, soil, and it grows through seasons of change. Sometimes it may appear to wither or seem weak, but it's not the end. It's part of the process. Relationships ordained by God are similar. They may go through difficult seasons, but they are part of the necessary growth that will lead you to greater strength. The person God places in your life is meant to help you grow into who you were always meant to be, not to simply exist as someone who makes you feel comfortable all the time. It is also important to understand that God does not just send someone to your life for the present. He sends them for the future as well. There is a future purpose in the person He has placed in your life. They are not just here to meet your needs today, but to help fulfill the greater purpose He has for you both. This means that your relationship has a direction, a divine calling that both of you are meant to walk into together. It's not about simply enjoying the present moment. It's about understanding that this relationship is part of a bigger picture, part of a legacy that will outlast both of you. The right person, the one God has placed in your life, will not just help you grow. They will walk with you through the storms. Life is full of unexpected twists, of challenges that may seem impossible to overcome. But when you are aligned with God's plan, He will send the right person to help you weather those storms. They will not run away when things get tough. They will stand beside you, strengthening you, supporting you and pointing you back toward God when you feel like you can't go on. In these moments, you will realize that love is not just an emotion, it is an action, a choice, a commitment. True love is not about the warm feelings, the excitement, or the attraction you feel in the early stages of a relationship. True love is about the decision to stand by someone no matter what, to help them grow, to encourage them in their dreams, to help them through their weaknesses, and to support them as they chase after God's purpose for their life. When God places someone in your heart, it will always be with the intention of fulfilling His divine plan for both of you. You will see how every moment, every challenge, every lesson in the relationship aligns with the purpose God has placed on your life. You will no longer feel like you are just passing time, but that your relationship is part of something far bigger, something eternal.